So becoming a millionaire is something that a lot of people aspire to, especially within the financial independence, retire early, or FIRE community. How hard is it to actually reach 1 million, and how long will it take the average person to reach it, assuming that they execute on a structured long-term plan? What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. The topic of today's discussion is going to be how hard is it really to become a millionaire as an average Joe. Now, if you like this kind of content and would want to see more, then you're going to want to make sure to stay subscribed to this channel so you do not miss any future uploads. With that out of the way, let's jump right into today's video. So the topic of today's video is going to be how long does it take for the average person to get to millionaire status. This is going to depend, like you can see on the thumbnail, but it's probably going to be easier than a lot of you think, as long as you stick to a structured plan and are able to execute over a long time horizon. Now, to answer the question directly, we can go ahead and pull up our net worth planner. As always, we are going to be inputting several assumptions and assume this guy is going to be starting out at 25 years old. I assume a lot of you are about that age range as well, just looking from my analytics. We're also going to assume a starting savings of say $20,000, which honestly is not too hard considering that they have gone through national service. They've been forced to save in this case. You could also have done various part-time roles and started your career earlier if you didn't do national service. So this number is actually going to be on the lower side. What we're also going to enter into this page is going to be the starting take-home salary. Now remember, this is going to be take-home, i.e. cash proceeds, and excluding any additional CPF contributions. So we're taking it really conservative here. On top of all of this, we're also going to be assuming a yearly increment of just 4%. This is pretty much average in the industry today. We've covered this on previous videos as well. On top of that, we've also assumed savings rates being around 35%. Once again, we've talked about this a number of times. This is pretty much average. We're also going to assume that this person is actually only investing conservatively. You know, the weighted average return on savings per annum is 4%. Now, this could be a mix of different things, right? This could be a mix of half cash in a high yield savings account and half in, say, a higher returning asset like the S&P 500, or in recent days in Chinese stocks. This falls nicely in line with the 4% rule that a lot of people use. We're also going to assume several assumptions about this person's career, promotions in year 2, year 5, and year 8, which seem pretty in line with what we would usually see, perhaps from an analyst, then to an associate, then to an AVP. Regardless of what the title actually is, let's just go with a 15% increment on promotion. Now that we've entered all of these inputs, we can then see this model over here. Last time we talked about how the average person can actually get to 100k by 30 relatively easily. In fact, they're likely to reach that by the age of 29, even based on these conservative assumptions. At this point, he's only gained one promotion or one decent pay raise in his entire career of 5 years. But the answer to the question for today is going to be the $1 million mark. And for that, we're going to have to scroll all the way down the timeline and arrive at this column W over here. And what we see is that this actually occurs around the age of 46 or 47 for this average 25-year-old who is just starting out, which does seem quite a lot earlier than what you expect, because you usually expect this to occur somewhere further down the line, perhaps when one reaches their 50s or 60s. We've also talked about this in our previous video where we talked about how most Singaporeans think that $600,000 is actually the figure that they use for financial independence, and that figure is actually reached in the early 40s for this guy as well. Now, if you think that is still too late for you, you can of course make use of this model, which by the way is available in the description as well. If you wanted to be a little bit more thrifty, maybe you stayed with your parents and saved on rental in your earlier years of career and bump your savings rate up to 50% of your take home. That actually brings forward your $1 million mark quite decently to the age of 43, which is not bad at all considering that this is only slightly past the 40-year-old mark. And this, by the way, is not even counting additional windfalls such as a BTO, for instance, or even CPF contributions, which contrary to popular belief is actually one of the best ways to run a retirement scheme for a given country. You're not depending on current workers to pay for current retirees. Everyone is just saving on their own. And most importantly, you can actually use it to build towards house equity if you're thinking that property is something that you want to do. So overall, what is the moral of the story? Well, the moral of the story is that by following a structured plan over a long time horizon, even the average Joe that you might believe is not doing too well these days can actually become a millionaire by the mid-40s. What do you think? Does this fit with your own experience? Do leave your comments down below. All in all, I hope you found this video informative and interesting. Once again, if you want to play around with this model, this is available in the description below. And if you haven't checked out our previous video and would like to find out where you stand in the grand scheme of things, then you're going to want to check out this one over here. Without that being said, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.